you dressed like a cat?
I am not a cat. I am clearly the wolf man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so why are you dressed like a wolf man?
Because we're starting Monster Squad. So this week we're doing the wolf man. So I'm the wolf man.
Right. So okay, just remind me again. What does this have to do with Shakespeare?
Okay, I'll re-explain it. Let's just go back to the office and explain what it has to do with Shakespeare.
Okay.
So, what does the werewolf and monsters have to do with...
I cannot understand a word you are saying right now.
Those are the pants.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
So what do monsters and the werewolf have to do with William Shakespeare? Well, William Shakespeare was not shy about exploring some of the darker parts of the human experience. His stories are full of murder, vengeance, beheadings, cannibalism, some very famous witches, and what is the most iconic image of William Shakespeare? It's a person holding a human skull. So we thought for Halloween, we would explore some of the famous monsters in our culture. Each week, we'll explore the origin, history, and legacy of a famous creature on the Monster Squad. And this week, the werewolf.
Are you done?
Oh, it didn't cut?
The legend of the werewolf, describing a man capable of shape-shifting into a wolf, is actually prevalent in almost all corners of our world. Due to this, the origin of the werewolf is hard to pin down. But early stories of the werewolf come from Viking legends, where men and gods alike were capable of shape-shifting into a great wolf by donning a wolf pelt. Oftentimes, there were contingencies with this, like only being able to remove the pelt and therefore turn back to human every 10th day. In France, wolf hunting had been a state function since the 800s under the rule of Charlemagne, meaning that the existence of werewolves and the danger that they posed were a very real fear amongst the French, a fear that had been growing for centuries.
Fascinating stuff. Alyson, I'm curious now, the history of werewolves that you described, did they look like me?
What do you mean?
Well, one of my favorite kinds of movies are werewolf movies. One of my favorite creatures in cinema, and I think about like the first werewolf movie, Werewolf of London, 1935, and then Lon Chaney's famous Wolfman. You see Harry Potter has a wolf, Twilight has a wolfman, Teen Wolf, one of the coolest teen wolves, and they always seem to be sort of standing on two legs, sort of half man, half wolf.
Right, yeah, no, that's very interesting.
Yes.
Actually, traditionally, in the legends of werewolves, these people actually turned into actual wolves, like the four-legged creatures that just run around and maul people.
Incredible, wow.
One of the more well-known werewolf attacks in France was committed by the Beast of Gévaudan, which terrorized a province in south-central France from 1764 to 1767, killing upwards of 100 people. Consistent sightings, which were backed up by actual injuries by victims that were consistent with a wolf attack, solidified for many at the time that they were dealing with a vicious werewolf, the likes of which had not ever been seen in France. Modern historians think the beast to be one large wolf infected by rabies, a large pack of wolves, a hyena, or possibly even a young male lion. Or maybe, just maybe, it was a werewolf after all.
So what does it all mean?
Good question.
Beasts that live and thrive on the fringes of society and of civilization are something we as humans admire for their resiliency, and fear for a beast whose only goal was bloodshed ultimately has no morals. As such, werewolves were a warning. We must protect our humanity. But we undoubtedly still see ourselves in them. Why else would the image of the werewolf fascinate us for centuries? The werewolf encapsulates the theme human society has always grappled with. Are we not just animals ourselves?
Well, that's all the time we have. I hope you learned a lot about werewolves. I certainly did. I'm not a kitty. And tune in next week for an interview with a vampire. Ooh. Or the Monster Squad.
Why do you say it like that?
Because that's how they said it in the movie. It's It's a quote. It's a line. The movie Monster Squad.
Okay, never seen it.
Oh my God.
Monster Squad.
Monster
like
Squad.
that?